This charity has not got any government funding, so we rely entirely on people's generosity, whether it be giving, very generous donations, but in a way, and within the riding population, in a way more importantly, giving up their time and a lot of efforts to raise those incredibly important funds in order to put it towards the very important research.
Spinal cord injury just happens, and it happens in an instant. And in that instant, say in the fall from the horse, the energy from that fall can cause enormous damage to the delicate spinal cord. You get instant damage to the communication lines between the brain and the rest of the body, and you're beginning a life of paralysis. Before spinal research was established, a lot of what I've described was known. Damage to the CNS was thought to be irreversible, and research into spinal cord injury was non-existent. We know that the CNS inhibits nerve regeneration, but we've pieced together many of the events following spinal cord injury, and we now know that damaged CNS makes some attempt to repair itself. This has led to many potential targets for treatment, and it's entirely rational now to conceive of developing treatments for spinal cord injury.
As a professional event rider, we understand and accept that accidents can happen. It is through training that we try to reduce the chances of these accidents happening to us. Unfortunately, accidents do happen, and it is through our connections with Spinal Research that we try to give hope to those who have been paralysed by such an accident.
As a member of the Irish 3-day event squad, I feel it's very important that we all get behind the Saddle Up charity. At some point or another it's going to affect one of us or somebody we know, so yeah, I just feel it's very, very important that we all get behind it and drive on.
What are the concepts of restoring function? Well, our scientists are developing treatments to halt the secondary damage and spare as much tissue and function as possible, learning to stimulate neurons to grow, overcome the scar tissue and other inhibitory parts of the CNS, making it much more permissive to regeneration. Educating those newly formed circuits is very important with rehabilitation.
I wanted to get involved in spinal research because it doesn't matter how old your horse is. If it's an old horse or a young horse, or if you're out hacking or at a major competition, accidents will always happen, and riders really should be aware of this. And we need to get as many riders involved with spinal research to raise as much money as we can.
I was a keen show jumper before my accident in August 2006, and I had significant damage to my spinal cord at C6 level. So that means I'm tetraplegic, so I'm paralysed from the waist down, with limited hand function, and fingers don't move very well. We have to have specific wheelchairs designed for us, lightweight, so we can be really independent, get them in and out of a car, be able to lift them. We also have to have other equipment, maybe standing frames, which it helps with daily living, our digestive systems, keeps everything moving properly. And also osteoporosis is a very big thing with spinal cord injuries. So the more you can weight bear in your legs and stand in a standing frame, the less likely you are to get osteoporosis. Well, I never thought I would get a spinal cord injury, and there's over 800 a year at the moment that suffer spinal cord injuries. So we all want to live best independent lives that we possibly can to the highest quality, and I found that spinal research has really helped with that so far.
So where are we now? Our strapline says fighting paralysis and winning. So we're awaiting the outcome of the first clinical trials, which is extremely exciting. There's much more in the pipeline, and there's a rich bed of research going on in labs all around the world. Clinical trial networks are being set up around this world as well. There's unprecedented collaboration among scientists. And what of the future? Well, most people with spinal cord injury can expect a near normal life expectancy. But there's significant advances in the care for the spinal cord injured. It's come about through management of bladder and bowel and respiratory function, better surgical procedures and patient handling, has greatly reduced the amount of unnecessary damage. And obviously antibiotics and dedicated spinal injury units have helped. But the quality of life is not good enough. It's now time for biomedical research to put back quality in those years by restoring lost function. The rate of bringing some of the most promising experimental treatments to the clinic is limited only by funds, and for that we need your support.
I vented for probably nearly 25 years and really had a fantastic career in the sport. And I did have my fair share of accidents, but very fortunately, so far, I've managed to not have the same sort of spinal injury that a lot of equestrian riders suffer from. It's rather shocking to know that there are over 800 people a year who suffer from spinal injuries, and quite a few of those are equestrian injuries. So that's why I joined Saddle Up, which is part of the Spinal Research group, because I felt so passionate about trying to raise funds to help with the research, which is so important. Maybe one day, and I think everybody is pretty convinced that one day we can help people get out of their wheelchairs and back onto their horses.